The Lakers have been crowned the NBA's 2020 champions. It was a weird season with the bubble and new formats. It was a sad one with the tragic death of Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and everyone else in that helicopter crash. Every Laker fan can be a little happier that the team did everything in their power to win it all. For the fans, for Kobe, for the haters, and for themselves. But winning does a funny thing of obscuring the losses. It was only but a season ago that the purple and gold missed the playoffs altogether. But that was the last of a drought lasting 6 long years. So I'm going to be going through each season and looking at how the Lakers fell hard and slowly, very slowly, made a champion. The 2012 to 2013 season. This was only my second year of being a true Laker fan, paying attention to every game and roster move. I felt spoiled that only in year 2, my team had managed to add 2 superstars to a team with already 2 on the roster. The Lakers had managed to trade for the best big man in the league, Dwight Howard, and somehow pulled a move for 2-time MVP point guard Steve Nash. With the addition of Mike D'Antoni, this was supposed to be a team supercharged on both ends of the court. There was immediate worries before the season even started when LA managed to somehow go 0-8 in the preseason. Not the worst thing in the world, but troubling nonetheless. This was only the beginning of a season of disasters. In only the second game of the season, Nash suffered a broken leg, effectively ending his career. He tried many times to come back, but struggled to stay on the court at all. One by one, the stars would fall. Pau Gasol would battle plantar fasciitis all season. D12 had troubling back problems that would not go away and seemed to sometimes hamper his play. Although dominant, he wasn't the same. In the middle of the season, a longtime great owner, Jerry Buss, also passed away. The lone light to guide the team was Kobe. He seemed to give his all every single game, played every style of ball to keep the team afloat, and he was the main reason the Lakers managed to scrape into the playoffs. Sadly, the Black Mamba would tear his Achilles in the last game and never be the same. San Antonio would sweep the Lakers in the playoffs. Dwight didn't seem to be putting much effort in and left in the offseason, but not before the front office would embarrass themselves with billboards for a player who obviously did not want to return. The Lakers extended Kobe for his efforts with max money and tried their best to scavenge the market, but the team was far from a playoff hopeful. The 2013 to 2014 season. LA still had 3 stars on the roster, Kobe, Gasol, and Nash. It seemed unlikely, but they're going to try to make a playoff push. But the basketball gods had other ideas. Kobe suffered another season-ending injury during the season, and Nash again struggled with his injury bug. Pau Gasol was a lone good player on this team. He averaged 17.4 points, 9.7 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 1.5 blocks, and a half steal per game. The rest of the roster, however, was an unrecognizable mess. It had the likes of Robert Sacre, Chris Kaman, and Ryan Kelly playing big minutes every single night. There were a few highlights, thankfully, as every fan needed something to hold on to stop themselves from giving up on the NBA, because this was a nightmare. Xavier Henry nearly ended his former college teammate with one of the best in-game dunks ever. Mike D'Antoni showed he was an offensive genius, implementing tactics that would now be commonplace on every single team in the NBA, playing fast, small, and three-point heavy. It was a bad team with bad players, but fun to watch because of the system. Oh, I almost forgot, we learned that when a player fouls out without a player to sub in, the team gets a technical foul on every subsequent foul. Fun fact. Thank you, Robert Sacre. The season went up in flames, and the Lakers ended up with the number 7 pick, and they selected Julius Randle. The 2014 and 2015 season. So entering the season, the fan base and the front office now seemed more open to building a team from the inside. They had promising big man Julius Randle on the roster as a starting point. After last season, there was hope for a new and better era to begin. And then Randle would fracture his leg in the 4th quarter of the first game. There were lone bright spots. Second-round pick Jordan Clarkson was a great surprise. He averaged 17.1 points and 5 assists per 36 minutes. The Lakers also had great contributions from role players such as Nick Young and Jody Meeks, who both played themselves into longer stays in the NBA. There wasn't much more to hold on to. Even Kobe, who could alone keep this team afloat, was a shell of his former self. He only managed to play 36 games this season. It was a circus. LA was a laughingstock of the league. And with that, they were awarded the second pick in the 2015 draft. 2015-2016. With the second pick, LA surprised everyone in the league. It was thought by most that they would select Jahlil Okafor, a big man with a myriad of post moves that could become the next great big for the Lakers. They instead made a flashy move by selecting combo guard D'Angelo Russell. He had smooth handles, a nice jump shot, and great passing vision. What would have been a great development year for Russell, Clarkson, and the now recovered Julius Randle became overshadowed by Kobe's spectacular farewell tour. Not to mention, the front office hired Byron Scott, a coach notorious for being hard on rookies, and seemed to be the wrong person for the job all season. Kobe had his moments every night being in the spotlight while playing 3 steps behind his former glory. It was hard to see him play his final season. The rose-tinted glasses of watching a legend leave made things a little more watchable. Kobe left with a boom, dropping 60 points in his final game. The atmosphere was incredible and finals-esque just through the television screen. A great end to a legendary career. The young guys had their moments as well. It would seem they would be ready to take the reins the following season, if not for D'Angelo Russell utterly destroying his locker room chemistry by exposing Nick Young for cheating. His on-court and off-court brotherhood with his teammates was obvious to the point they purposefully ignored him on the court. It was a nice season for ending the chapter of Kobe, but a bad example of starting a new chapter. The Lakers were bad and again were given the second pick. 2016-2017. With the second pick, LA would select Brandon Ingram, a forward oozing with potential who seemed to have a great, well-rounded game. To grow with the young core, former Warriors assistant head coach Luke Walton was added as the head coach. There were a lot of fun pieces such as Lou Williams and constant poster threat sophomore Larry Nance Jr. There was also huge money forked over for Luol Deng and Timothy Mozgov. Questionable moves that were supposed to round out the roster and provide great veteran leadership. The team just could not click together. D'Lo disappointed as he registered a small uptick in production in a much larger role. Brandon Ingram was a disaster, although still promising rookie, as he showed surprising skills like being capable of running an offense. Luke Walton struggled in his first year, not being sure what to do with his rotations and managing players, a theme that would stick with him. The team played better than the year before. They had more wins, but that's not saying much as they ended the year with 24 victories. Cue the end of the season and surprisingly a second overall pick, which was important because for the third time they were able to keep their pick protected. It was a pick owed due to the Steve Nash trade. 2017-2018. This year it was supposed to be good. The Lakers selected offensive engine Lonzo Ball with their pick, a sharpshooter who could revolutionize any offense. With him and Russell, the Lakers had the backcourt of the future. And then they traded D'Lo to Brooklyn. In return, they netted Brook Lopez and rookie Kyle Kuzma. A shocking move that left a lot of fans asking why. Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma would, however, immediately have great on-court connection during the Summer League. The Lakers won the championship. Kuzma was a huge surprise with great play, and Lonzo won the Summer MVP with superstar potential. He averaged 16.3 points, 7.7 rebounds, 9.3 assists, and 2.5 steals every night. Not only was he everything as advertised, but he was a great defensive stopper, a contrast to his putrid efforts at UCLA. During the season, the young guys still impressed. Ingram was a much better player as well. The Lakers proved they were draft experts as they unearthed important pieces late in the draft like Josh Hart and Ivica Zubac. There wasn't much expected from this team except to just go out and play. Let the young guys grow and let Lonzo and Ingram show they are the future. Lonzo quickly came back to earth. He was nowhere near the shooter he was in college. The rest of his game kept up to his summer levels, but shooting became a huge limiting factor in his effectiveness. He shot 42% from the field and 30% from three. And injuries also became an issue like seemingly every year now with the Lakers. It was a promising year, but still somewhat disappointing. They finished with 35 wins and lost their draft pick as it finally lost its protection. 2018-2019. Now it's time to shine. With an underwhelming team, LeBron managed to scrape by into the finals before being quickly outed by the mega team Warriors. Without much left in Cleveland, James decided to go to Hollywood, joining the young core, promising great leadership and to help them grow. There were talks of a young core plus LeBron at center super depth lineup. It was a surprising move, and even more surprising was how the season actually unraveled. LA would begin the season by losing Brandon Ingram and Rajon Rondo. The two were involved in a fight with Chris Paul and subsequently suspended. Lonzo seemed to regress big time with LeBron on the team. Lonzo's skills were redundant and his shooting made him a bad off guard. LeBron James is a great player, but his fit with the young guys was not great. This was showed best by Brandon Ingram. With LeBron on the court, Ingram's per 36 stats were 15.1 points, 1.9 assists, and shooting only 44% from the field. But with LeBron off the court, Ingram had superstar abilities. He averaged 29.5 points, 4.7 assists, while shooting 56% from the field. The team up was not gonna work, and no one knew that better than LeBron. Come trade deadline time, James openly advocated for a trade to give up anything and everything for New Orleans superstar, big man, Anthony Davis. The trade fell through, and so did any chemistry the team had. The injury bug would be the final nail in the coffin, and the Lakers would again miss the playoffs. During the offseason, they landed the 4th overall pick. Most importantly, they landed Anthony Davis. They gave up virtually every asset they had, minus Kyle Kuzma. They missed out on every other key free agent, and there were big questions left on the team. There were doubters league-wide and fans angry about how much they lost. And well, with the 2020 NBA chip in hand, the results speak for themselves. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe for more Lakers content, and if you could please like the video as well, that'd help me out a lot. Anyways, hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Peace.